Good evening. I'm Lisa Desjardins. John Yang is away. We start at a consequential moment for a key piece of the American economy, the car industry. This weekend, some car buyers across the country were rushing to showrooms as automakers brace for 25% tariffs on vehicles and on auto parts made outside the United States. Those kick in Thursday and could raise some car prices by thousands of dollars. But President Trump told NBC News in a phone interview yesterday, quote, "I couldn't care less. I hope they raise their prices because if they do, people are going to buy American-made cars. We have plenty." We are now joined by Micheline Maynard, a veteran business journalist and author who covers the auto industry. Her Substack is called Intersection: Everything That Moves. Micheline, we're going to go through a few sectors here, but let's start with those looking to buy a car. Should they be rushing out to do that now?
The car makers have quite a few vehicles on their lots, so I'm not sure if you need to jump out tomorrow and buy a car. They do have inventory. This isn't like the days during the pandemic when they were down to no cars. But you have to figure that the clock is ticking and that we will start to see the inventory of these vehicles run out before the tariffs kick in. So, yeah, I mean, if you're planning to do it anyway, I would go. But I don't think you need to feel like if I wait until the summer, I'm going to have to pay $1 zillion more.
So this brings us to the dealerships themselves. Talking to some folks I know who work in car dealerships, some of them have had a great March already as it is, but now they're dealing with the prospect of these tariffs, and it seems like there's real mixed prospects for them. We want to play something from a Ford dealership, someone working in Ypsilanti, Michigan, for example.
I'm kind of on the fence with tariffs. I can see where the benefits could lie, and I also see where the missteps are with tariffs. I'd rather us as a globe, as the total world, work together to make people's lives better. At the same time, it was better when there was more manufacturing here.
Now, assuming that these tariffs do take place, as the Trump administration has said they will, what is the situation for car dealers? Could this be a real problem for them in business?
Absolutely. So this is how this will work. The cars that are on the lots now, there's no reason why the prices should go up. However, we've seen in the past that dealers will often place fees on cars, even if they've been sitting on the lot. So it's up to the dealers themselves, because they're individual business people. They could place a tariff fee on the vehicle, even if it wasn't brought over after tariffs take effect. Now, when the tariffs take effect, this is all very confusing because it's both the vehicle and parts in the vehicle. And there's almost no vehicles sold in America that don't have parts that come from outside the United States. Even Tesla, which says it manufactures everything here in the United States, gets some parts from overseas. So it's going to be, will the dealers raise the prices of the whole vehicle? Will they raise prices to reflect the parts that are in the vehicle? It's all a big unknown right now.
There has been some back and forth about President Trump's stance here. Contrary to the NBC reporting we mentioned earlier, the Wall Street Journal reported that President Trump warned CEOs not to raise prices because of these tariffs. How do you think CEOs approach this?
So you have to understand that when you look at car prices, they're called manufacturers' recommended retail prices. The car companies can recommend a price, but the dealer is in charge of setting the last price. So the car companies could say, oh no, we don't want our dealers to raise prices, but these are individual men and women who are running these dealerships. And if their costs from the company go up, I can almost guarantee you that they're going to raise car prices. So that will put pressure on the automakers to keep their wholesale prices at the same levels that they are now. And I'm not sure if the car companies will be able to resist doing that. They don't want to take losses.
In our last minute or so, I want to step back and just do big picture here. President Trump has said he wants to protect American workers, American manufacturing. He wants to spur a new era, I think, in American car making as he sees it. But the way this tariff is going, do you see it having that effect, short or long term?
I think short term, there's going to be a lot of pain, and it's not going to just be in Detroit because more vehicles are actually built in the United States by non US companies now than are built by the Detroit companies. And so we will have tariffs on European vehicles, on South Korean vehicles, on Japanese vehicles, and that's going to hurt everybody across the entire auto industry. Long term, I know the goal is to push car makers to build more vehicles in the United States. Right now, they don't have the capacity to do that. And they will have to make decisions on building new factories or new assembly lines based on the thought that Donald Trump might only be in office until 2028 or early 2029. These are long term decisions. Will they want to make a long term decision facing the situation they're in now? And I think they're going to think very carefully about this.
Micheline Maynard, you can find her reporting at Intersection, Everything That Moves, and we're so grateful that you joined us today.
Thank you so much for having me.